Hello everyone, my name is Boko. Thank you for coming. This is the mini course lesson 13, subject, object, pronouns, and to be. Subjekat, objekat, zamenice I biti. Verb to be. Glagol biti. Let's begin. Hajde da počnemo. You should definitely know this by now. Subject pronouns I, ja, you, ti, he, on, she, ona, it, ono, we, me, you plural, vi, they, oni. Ja, ti, on, ona, ono, mi, vi, oni. And you already know that we have three genders, muški, ženski, I srednji. The thing about these pronouns that is different from English is the pronoun it. We don't use it the same way. Phone, telefon, that's masculine. The phone is black, telefon je crn. It is black, on je crn. So if the noun is masculine, like phone is, we would use the pronoun he. So we would literally say he is black, referring to the phone. Okay? So we don't care if the noun is animate or inanimate. We only care about the gender of the noun. If the noun is masculine, we will refer to it as he. He is black. I love him. I love my phone. I love him. Next, chair, stolica, feminine. The chair is yellow. Stolica je žuta. So you see the feminine form of yellow, of the adjective, žuta. It is yellow, ona je žuta. So if the noun is feminine, we would use the pronoun she. She is yellow, ona je žuta. Of course, the same goes for the neuter nouns. So for example, sky, nebo, neuter. The sky is blue, nebo je plavo. So the neuter form of the adjective blue, or of the color, plavo. It is blue, ono je plavo. So we would use it, or ono, only if the noun is neuter. It doesn't matter if the noun is animate or inanimate. Also, we use formal speech fairly often. Basically, every time we talk to strangers and in business settings, at work, at a bank, at a store, at a restaurant, especially if the person we are talking to is older than us or at least our peer, we would only use informal with a stranger who is really younger than us. Until we get to know the person better, we would definitely use formal speech. Formal speech is actually identical to you plural, meaning when you talk to multiple people and then when you speak to one person in a formal way, it sounds identical. It's the same. Are you Marco? Da li ste vi Marco? That's formal. Are you Marco? Da li si ti Marco? That's informal. Notice that the letter V is capitalized. That is also a rule for formal speech. If it's formal V, it's capitalized. If it's plural, V is not capitalized. Are you the new student? Da li ste vi novi student? Notice that the word student is in the singular form. That is how you know that the question is intended to only one person and then that it's actually formal speech. Are you new students? Da li ste vi novi studenti? Here you have studenti, which is students, the plural form. So you would recognize that this is plural, like multiple students, as opposed to formal. So we don't use the verb to be in the present tense. And the present simple, present continuous, and the present perfect continuous are all the same in Serbian. He sleeps, he is sleeping, he has been sleeping, on spava, or just spava. I am listening, slušam. They have been playing basketball, oni igraju košarku. We are watching, mi gledamo. Again, the verb to be does not form the present continuous tense. You only need the verb and, of course, the right declination for the respective pronoun. And the pronouns themselves, ja, ti, on, mi, vi, oni, is basically not mandatory. Not only that it's not mandatory, but we like omitting it because we definitely know from the suffix of the verb, we know if it's I mean if it's ja or ti or on or oni or whatever. So, when do we use the verb to be? We use it in the past simple tense. We will not study that now. I just want to show you one sentence. Past simple tense and past continuous tense are the same. He slept. He was sleeping. On je spavao. On je spavao. Anyway, moving on. What I do want to show you is another use of the verb to be, but in the present. We actually had them in some examples in this very lesson. The phone is black. Telefon je crn. So obviously, in the present tense, when you are using adjectives saying, I am young, he is tired, we are hungry, using the colors, we have to, of course, we have to use verb to be, and it is in the present. So, telefon je crn. Are you students? Da li ste vi studenti? Da li ste vi studenti? Marco is hungry. Marko je gladan. Marko je gladan. We are tired. Mi smo umorni. Mi smo umorni. Marko is a good worker. Marko je dobar radnik. Marko je dobar radnik. Anna is the only teacher they have. Ana je jedina učiteljica koju imaju. Ana je jedina učiteljica koju imaju. Handsome, zgodan, zgodna, zgodno. They are handsome. Oni su zgodni. Oni su zgodni. Don't use to be in the present together with any other verbs in the same sentence. As you can see in the examples below, you have to be before adjectives and nouns only, if you use it in the present tense. Okay? He is thirsty. Thirsty is an adjective, so you have to say on je žedan or žedan je. So this second construction is actually much more common. Just don't forget to say it in this word order. Umoran je. You cannot say je umoran. You cannot start your sentence with to be. Well, you can start negative sentence like he is not thirsty. Nije žedan. Nije žedan. And the question, is he thirsty? Da li je on žedan or da li je žedan? Object pronouns, mi, mene, or the short form me. You, tebe, te. Him, njega, ga. Her, nju or je. It is the same as him, so we say njega or ga. Us, nas. You, plural, vas. Them, njih or ich. We obviously have two forms for most of these pronouns, object pronouns, the longer form and the shorter form, and nas y vas only has one form, as you can see. When do we use one and when do we use the other? They are, of course, interchangeable. I would say that the shorter form is much more common. We would use the longer form to emphasize the object. For example, I love you, volim te. That is definitely more common and it sounds more beautiful, and I think, when people learn this expression, they of course learn it like this, and we all say it to each other like this. But you can also say ja volim tebe. This is definitely correct grammatically. It's the same meaning, it's the same sentence, and the same pronoun, as I said, just the shorter and the longer version. But when you say ja volim tebe, sounds like an explanation when you're in trouble, trying to emphasize that you love exclusively that person and nobody else. Like, I love you, not her. Volim tebe, ne nju. Let's take a look at the construction of these two forms. Marco is waiting for her. Marko je čeka. Or Marko čeka nju. Anna watches her. Ana je gleda. Ana gleda nju. Milan loves us. Milan nas voli. Milan voli nas. So you can see here, I've put the shorter version first because it's more common. It sounds a little bit better. I mean, just a little bit more natural. Again, both of these forms are grammatically correct and interchangeable. But if you say Milan voli nas, again, it sounds like you're emphasizing, differentiating that Milan loves us, rather than somebody else, So when you get it wrong, or when you say something that's incorrect, people would use the longer form, emphasizing like Milan voli nas, he loves us, not them, Marco hates them. Marko ih mrzi. Marko mrzi njih. So in this case, doesn't sound like an emphasis. It sounds like you are just trying to explain exactly who he hates. So you're saying Marko mrzi njih, them, maybe pointing or, trying to explain exactly that it's them and not somebody else. Maria feeds me. Maria me hrani. Maria hrani mene. Sonia loves you. Sonja te voli. Sonja voli tebe. If you have a name for a subject, you can either use the long form after the verb, so after the verb, voli tebe, or the short form before the verb, te voli. So you cannot say Sanja voli te, that is not correct, and you cannot say Sanja tebe voli, that is also not correct. So you say the longer form after the verb, voli tebe, Sonja voli tebe, or you use the short form before the verb, Sonja te voli. So that is if you have a name for a subject, or if you have a pronoun, it's the same thing. Ona voli tebe or ona te voli. So you have to follow the exact word order in the sentences. If you have a pronoun as a subject, he is waiting for her. On čeka nju. On je čeka. Čeka je. So you have this third form. If you have a pronoun as a subject, you have this third option, or third version, which is also the same and grammatically correct and interchangeable. So you omit the pronoun and you swap the main verb and the verb to be. So you have the main verb first and verb to be second, because as you already know, you cannot start a sentence with verb to be. So you say čeka je. He is waiting for her. So we got it down to only two words. Čeka je. She loves him. You can say it in three different ways. Ona voli njega. Ona ga voli. Voli ga. She doesn't see it. Ona to ne vidi. Or ne vidi to. Is she ignoring me? Da li ona ignoriše mene? Da li me ignoriše? She washes them. Ona pere njih. Ona ih pere. Or pere ih. So, if you have a pronoun as a subject, you can either use the long form after the verb, pere njih, or the short form before the verb, ona ih pere, just like before when you had a name as a subject. Or you can omit the pronoun, like we usually do in Serbian and other surrounding languages like Croatian, Bosnian, and Montenegrin, and form a sentence with just two verbs, the main verb first and verb to be second. Pereich. Completely understandable, nice, short, concise, and used very often. Now we can take a look at the example sentences containing the rules we've just learned. Sarah is reading a book. Sara čita knjigu. Sarah is reading it. Sara čita nju. Sara je čita. We use her because book, knjiga, is feminine. So we're saying Sarah is reading her. Okay. She is reading it. Ona je čita, or just čita je. Because in this sentence we use the pronoun, so we could omit it and just say čita je. Main verb and verb to be. Tomato, paradise. Nemanja is eating a tomato. Nemanja jede paradise. Tomato, paradise, is obviously masculine, so he is eating it. Jede ga is how we say, eating him. They know this lesson. Oni znaju ovu lekciju. They know it. Znaju je, literally her. We buy these vegetables every day. Mi kupujemo ovo povrće svaki dan. We buy them. Kupujemo ih. You love me. Voliš me. Or ti voliš mene. That's the longer version. To hit, udariti or udarati. That's the perfective and imperfective forms. He is hitting you. Udarate. You love yourself. Voliš se. This is a reflexive, remember? Or at least it looks like a reflexive because you're saying that you love yourself. So, voliš se. Very similar to what we learned in lesson number 7, mini course lesson 7, the reflexives. They see themselves. Vide se. We hate each other. Mrzimo se. I take care of myself. Čuvam se. So it is of course not the same as the reflexive verbs, which always have that se, however you use the verb, right? These are just singular examples, but not the same. So whenever you have people doing something to each other, or both at the same time, or you're doing something to yourself, so you're the subject and the object of the sentence, that's when you also add se, just to state the reciprocity of the process, right? Of the sentence, because people are doing it to each other, or someone is doing it to him or herself, and so on. To torture, mučiti. He tortures himself, muči se. On se muči, or muči se. Alright, thank you very much for watching. If you wish to have a live one-on-one lesson, you can find me on italki. If you use the link in the video description to sign up, and when you spend, whenever you spend $20 in italki credits, you will receive an additional $10. Also, improve your Serbian on the language learning app uTalk. If you use the link in the video description, you will get a 30% discount. Check out my coffee page as well, and hvala, vidimo se, ciao!